Welcome to the Activated Story Theater's 156th podcast.
This episode we bring you The Gifts of Wali Dad, a story from India or Pakistan.
Hi, I'm Dennis.
And I'm Kimberly.
And together we are the Activated Actors!
We're coming to you from Greenville, South Carolina.
Which is pretty green.
It is pretty green,
and
yes.
It's
and pretty warm, actually.
Yes, it's been rather warm.
Very warm this year, yes. I'm wondering if you guys are having warm weather or is it cold? What's your weather like where you are? Oh, okay. I'm just going to pretend that you told me because I don't know. I can't hear you.
Anyway, we've finished up our fall season and now we're looking forward to spring. We have some shows coming up.
Well, we've got a couple shows coming up in January, actually. And one of them is going to be a public show in Charleston, South Carolina. We will be performing at the museum in Charleston on January 9th at 10:30. So if you or somebody you know is out in the Charleston, Goose Creek, that area of South Carolina, on the east coast of South Carolina, tell them about the show. They can come. The admission is free with the ticket to the museum. Well, we're going to make this a very short podcast because we know everybody is getting ready for the holidays and wrapping their gifts and having all kinds of holiday fun. So we've got a story for you, and we're going to get it started.
It's a story about gifts.
Yes.
The Gifts of Wali Dad from India or Pakistan.
Long ago in India, or was it Pakistan? Anyway, there lived a poor old man named Wali Dad. He lived in a little hut far away from the village, and he earned his money by cutting long grass, which he would take to the market to sell to the farmers to feed their livestock.
Ooh.
Every day, he would put some of the money he earned into a pot and stash it under his bed. One night, he decided to see how much money he had in the pot. So he pulled out the pot.
Oops, wrong pot.
He pulled out the correct pot, and he counted the money.
Wow, what am I going to do with all this money? It's taking up valuable storage space under my bed. Maybe I should buy something with it at the marketplace. Something that will be much smaller.
So the next day, he carried the money to the market and began to look for something smaller to buy.
Let's see, what shall I get? A loaf of bread would be smaller, but I'd have too much change left over. I could buy an expensive pair of shoes, but I don't really need anything that fancy. There's a jeweler. Maybe he has something I could buy.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, and others. Baubles, bangles, beads, and bagatelles for your delight, delectation, and décolletage. Yes, sir. What will you have?
Well, let's see. What can I get for this much money that's really small?
Wow! That's a lot of money! You could buy this jewelry stand from me. It's pretty small.
I don't think it would fit under my bed.
Well then, how about a nice diamond bracelet?
Oh, that would even fit under my pillow. If I had a pillow and really wanted to put trinkets under it. Oh, very well, here you go.
Thank you, sir. You just paid for my first vacation ever. But when Wali Dad took the bracelet home, he began to have buyer's remorse.
What on earth was I thinking? A diamond bracelet? It's just not me. It's too fancy schmancy. I should give it to someone who really would love it, but it's probably really hard to find someone who'd like to have a bunch of diamonds on a band of gold and silver.
So he sought out a messenger who delivered messages and gifts and merchandise all over the land.
Tell me, my good sir, who would really appreciate a bracelet like this?
Well, I don't know. It's a nice bracelet, but it has so many of those sparkly things on it. It's kind of hard to get a good look at it. Well, I think I know someone who'd really like it. The Queen of Pakistan. I deliver goods to her palace all the time.
Oh, very well. Then please take it to her, will you?
Sure thing. How much do you want to get for it?
No, it's a gift.
Oh, Oh, well, that works, I guess. A little unusual, but it works. So the messenger took the bracelet to the Queen of Kaistand, wherever that is. Oh my, what a fabulous bracelet. Oh, it goes perfectly with this hour's fashions. Tell me, who sent it? A gentleman named Wali Dad, Your Highness. Wali Dad? I don't know that name. Oh, maybe he just has a summer cottage here. Whoever he is, he has excellent taste indeed. Oh, I shall send him a dozen of my finest horses, with my compliments, regards, felicitations, best wishes, and fist bumps. And so the messenger led the dozen horses back to Wali Dad.
Hey, hold your horses. What is all this?
It's your dozen horses, sir. A gift from the Queen. Where would you like them?
What? A dozen horses? Why did she send me a dozen horses?
Well, you sent her something, so she sent you something in return.
But that's not what... Oh, I didn't want anything in return. Now I'm worse off than before because I have more horses than I can possibly keep in my little hut. They even make me sneeze. I think I'm allergic to them. What shall I do with all these horses? I can't keep them under my bed. Then I'd have nightmares.
Well, you could always give them away to someone else.
Oh, splendid idea. But who?
Well, there is a king of Nekabad. He's on my delivery route as well, and he really loves horses.
Very well, then please take these horses to him on your next trip, and make it clear that I do not want anything in return.
So the messenger delivered the horses to the king, and the king was delighted.
Oh, what a fine selection of horses. Now I can build my racetrack. Tell me, who sent these?
A gentleman named Wali Dad, and he says he does not wish to receive anything in return.
Really? Oh, I get it. That's very sly of him. He believes that if he acts very humble and unselfish, I'll give him a very fine gift indeed. Well, I call that very clever, and I admire clever people. So I'll send him 20 camels loaded with silks.
And so the messenger brought the camels loaded with silks back to Wali Dad.
Here, what's all of this?
Ho, ho, ho! It's the camels loaded with silks. Where would you like them?
The what? Loaded with which?
It's your gift from the king as his thanks for the horses.
But I told you to tell him I didn't want anything in return.
And I told him you told me to tell him that. But he told me to tell you he appreciates your cleverness in telling me not to tell him. Let me tell you.
But I definitely can't stash 20 camels under my bed. They'd give me one very lumpy mattress. And silks? Why did it have to be silks? They make me itch. Well, what am I going to do?
Well, it's a crazy suggestion, but maybe you could pass them along to someone else?
Oh, brilliant idea. But who?
Well, there's the Queen of Kaistan again. She'd probably appreciate the silks.
Yes, of course. Take them to her, if you please. But promise you won't tell her where they came from.
Very well. Oh, very well. I promise. But when he delivered the camels and the silks, oh my, what fabulous silks! Now I can make a purse without harming any sows. Ooh, and the camels, well, they're okay too. Tell me, who sent these? I'm sorry, Your Highness, but I promised I wouldn't tell. Oh, so I'm supposed to guess, huh? Very well. I guess it must be that Wali dude again. Dodd. Wali Dodd. Oops. So, it is him. Oh, why would he be sending me such rich gifts? Is he challenging me to a gift-giving contest? Oh, I'll show him. This time, I'll send him 30 mules loaded with silver. And so, the messenger took the 30 mules loaded with silver back to the hut of Wali Dad, who said,
Oh, no, I don't believe this. How am I supposed to preserve my minimalist lifestyle if I keep getting all these gifts? What am I going to do with 30 mules full of silver? I I don't even know what to do with one mule full of silver.
Well, there's always the king of Nekabad. You haven't sent him anything since 2 gifts ago.
Oh, excellent idea. For your reward, you may keep one of the mules full of silver. But please take the others to the king.
Me? Why would I possibly want anything for myself? I'm just an humble messenger running back and forth all over creation to deliver things that make other people happy. And so he took the other 29 mules to the king, and the king said,
29 mules? That's an odd gift. Ah, but they're laden with silver. Now that's really cool. But it's also really unbelievable. This Wali Dad fellow must be trying to prove that he is more noble and generous than I am. Well, I'll show him. I'll see his 29 mules full of silver and raise him 40 elephants full of gold.
Well, you can probably guess what happened then. So why don't we just skip the next step and go straight to the queen's palace again? 40 elephants full of gold! Oh my! These are definitely not white elephants. Oh, I must admit, I'm rather impressed. And I think I finally see what's going on. I talked it over with my advisors, and they tell me that surely this Wali Dad is sending me all of these gifts because he wants to marry me. That's it, isn't it? Oh, well, you see, very well. Tell him that I will come immediately to his palace, and we shall meet at last. Needless to say, when the messenger told Wali Dad about this, he was not very happy.
Oh, well, what have I done to deserve this? First, I get all of these gifts that I didn't want, and now I'm supposed to become Mr. Queen? Well, what am I going to do?
I'm afraid I can't help you there, sir. I'm very good at carrying advice from someone else, but I'm not so good at giving it myself. Not knowing what to do, Wali Dad went for a walk in the woods.
Oh, woe is me. What will happen when the queen arrives and sees what a poor, simple man I am? She will think I was putting on airs by sending her all those gifts. I will be disgraced.
Do not fear, Wali Dad.
Huh? Who are you?
I am a peri, a spirit from paradise. I am here to assist you, because you are a good-hearted man who meant well. Therefore, be of good cheer. Alakazam!
Hey, where did these fancy clothes come from? All of a sudden, I'm dressed like royalty myself.
That's right. And you'll go back home, you'll see that your humble hut has been transformed into a majestic palace with servants and fine china and gourmet food and those fancy goldfish swimming in a pond out front. You can greet the queen as if you were a king.
Oh, how can I ever thank you?
Just give me a good review if you ever go online. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to zoom off to France to make sure that girl leaves the prince's ball by midnight. Oh, ta-ta!
So Wali Dad returned home, and it was just as the peri had said. In place of his humble hut, there was a huge palace of many rooms and exquisite decor, and not only was there one of those fancy fish ponds in front, but the fish in it swam in Busby Berkeley formations. There were also plenty of servants who seemed to recognize him. As soon as he walked in the door, they ran up to him excitedly.
Master, master, a caravan is approaching from the east.
Correction! A caravan is approaching from the west.
Actually, it looks like we have stereo caravans approaching from the east and the west. Oh, let me see. As I suspected, one of the caravans is the Queen of Kaistan. But who is the other one? Oh, my! It's the King of Nekabad. What is he doing here?
Well, the caravans approached, and Wali Dad went first to greet the queen.
Welcome, Your Majesty.
Oh, you must be Wali Dad. Who else would dress in such refined clothing? Oh, I'll tell you who else. That magnificent king who just arrived. Oh, Who is he?
Something tells me he's the king of Nekabad, Your Highness. If you will excuse me for a moment, I will greet him.
Of course.
Hello, Wali Dad.
Greetings, Your Highness. Forgive me, I did not receive word that you were coming.
Sorry to drop in unannounced. My caravan and I just happened to be in the neighborhood, so I thought I'd drop by and meet the giver of such fine gifts. It was a little hard to find this place, though. When I asked people for directions to your house, they told me to look for some little hut which I never saw. Anyway, here I am, and I can see that you have other guests. Who was that beautiful queen over there,
Come on over and I will introduce you.
Twist my jeweled arm.
And so the king and queen were introduced. They immediately fell in love and got married and lived royally ever after. As for Wali Dad, as soon as the king and queen had left, his palace turned back into a hut and his fancy clothes turned back into simple clothes.
Now, this is more my style.
He continued to work as a grass cutter, which was what he enjoyed doing. And he saved his money. Every now and then, he would still spend some of his money on a gift, but it was usually for someone who really needed it. A special delivery!
And that's the story of Wali Dad from India or Pakistan.
Woohoo! We're always finding you some new stories, and if you have a story that you haven't heard on our podcast yet, be sure to drop us a line, activatedstorytheater@gmail.com if you want to email us, or you can always call our 800 number. That's 800-429-6576. So you can leave a request that way. It's just a voicemail number. All you have to do is talk, and we'll listen like you're doing now, except we're talking and you're doing the listening.
Okay, once again, we are in Charleston at the Charleston Museum on January 9th.
We are looking forward to that. We'll be there at 10:30 performing in the museum. And then after that, we have some shows coming up in February. On the 16th, we will be in Eudora, Arkansas, performing at the Cultural Center.
Austin J. White Cultural Center.
The Austin J. White Cultural Center. We'll be there in the evening of January 16th.
January 16th. Then on to Gallup, New Mexico, and California and the West Coast.
On to California, yes. So be watching for our shows, and we hope to see you at a live show coming up. And in the meantime, you all have happy holidays and a happy new year.
Stay activated.
Activated Story Theater is committed to bringing fun, educational shows to schools and libraries nationwide. On stage, we use physical comedy, American Sign Language, imaginative props, and a giant, oversized book to bring multicultural folktales to life. For booking information, check out our website, activatedstorytheater.com, where you can also find out when the activated actors will be performing near you. Read a story, or order one of our audio CDs. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or listen on Stitcher. We look forward to your comments and folktale suggestions. Stay activated. Until next time.